Hello and welcome. Today I'm joined by the PT legend and maybe a few more other things. Isaac King. Hello, Isaac.
How are you?
Oh, I'm awesome. The sun is shining. Life is good. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very well, thank you.
Isaac, thank you so much for coming in. We met a few months ago and we talked about getting you as a guest to talk about what you're doing and why is it important for everyday New Zealanders. So can you please introduce yourself and let us know what you're doing?
Hi, my name's Isaac King. I'm the owner of King Fitness, and I've been a personal trainer for 20 years, and my major focus is workplace wellness. So I work with companies to help increase the wellness of their employees and the productivity of their employees physically.
That's massive considering, we've got a lot of companies, a lot of employees. I mean, I don't know the exact statistics of people working versus being self-employed, working for someone versus self-employed. So you're working with some big companies out there and you see a lot. So what's the number one stressor in the employees that you're funding, that you're working with?
The number one stressor probably is just the mental toll that it has on them, and I think that people are finding it harder to cope because they're physically is not as healthy as what a lot of people used to be. So yeah, I just think that's where it is. Just the mental stress of their work.
Yeah. So how would you combat the mental stress?
I think having an outlet that they can release themselves. So what I do is I create small groups that companies hire me to take their employees to basically work out together to build a little bit of a culture, a team outside of work, a place to release, vent, to learn, to address their physical well-being, any sort of chronic pain that they might have, all based around education and equipping themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's number one key, isn't it? When you educate people of how physical movement plays a massive significance on their mental health. Like I know that, these days it's very easy to go and get a prescription for antidepressant pills. And, when you go to GP, physical health is not the one they often talk about. They just go, okay, here's a pill, it will fix your problems. But it doesn't. The pills actually don't fix your problems as easily. And I know it's much harder to get into the physical exercise. So give us an example of what you do when you get in there with the companies. What are the first few steps that you take?
Well, basically, we have like a meeting with the leadership group and find out like where their issues are within their company. And typically, a lot of the stuff I'm working with at the moment are within leadership within the company. They're under a lot of like high pressure situations where they've got to make big calls, and their workload's very high, to the other end where I'm dealing with people that have a very physical job, very basic job, but very physical. So there can be uh, a high injury toll in that area. So it's basically creating an avenue for people to have a release outside of work, and the other avenue is helping people to address the injuries that they're facing.
Yeah, and I think like on my side of what I do, I see the benefits of people taking part in those programs, the physical program, but I also see the downside when people don't do it. For instance, they just bought a house, they're excited, they worked so hard to get there, but then when they buy a house and if something happens to them, how are they going to continue to pay their mortgages?
Yeah.
And this is where it's an important element, because the physical pressure on their bodies will cause them to have financial pressure.
Yeah, 100%.
As well. So it's all correlated, the mental problems, the physical problems, etc. So it's fantastic that you're actually doing that. But how did you get there? So let's go all the way back to the beginning of Isaac King and who he was and where he started.
Well, I've been in the industry for 20 years. So for about 16 of those, I was just what you would call a standard PT that worked within the corporate gyms. Had a really great time, but I kind of hit a point where I wanted a little bit more than just the Groundhog Day, Groundhog Year. And I saw an opportunity where if I got myself to a level of accreditation and qualifications that through Exercise New Zealand and IRD, I could become 100% tax deductible. So I went after it, got myself all the requirements that they wanted. And then I just started to reach out to the community. I grew up in this community and I kind of like know a lot of people. So I just shared my story and they loved the idea. And I just keep putting myself out there, like how you and I met at the awards, putting myself out there, more people come, things like that. But they see a financial benefit being tax deductible, but then they see a productivity benefit by getting a higher end employee because they're physically stronger and healthier. And when somebody's physically stronger and healthier, they tend to be happier and more productive.
Yeah.
So that's
I
a really
love
good
it.
thing.
I
Yeah.
love it. I absolutely love it because you had a vision, you had a why, and then you put them together and you're like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Right? To help my community, to get my community to be better.
Yeah. I think that's the quickest way for health and well-being to infiltrate into a community is through the workplace, because there's two sides to the coin I see, where the business gets a way more productive person that's happier, productive in their workplace, less likely to be sick, injured, things like that. So that's a person that the company can rely on. And when they go in there and there's less stress on their body, pain, they tend to be happier in themselves. So in turn, that business is sewing in to that employee where they're happier. And when they're happier, they tend to go home happier. So the wife's getting a happier husband, the husband's getting a happier wife. So for mum and dad, peers, they're all going home happy and energized, not tired and broken.
Yeah, it's a win-win all around,
Yeah.
right? It does create a better community.
Yeah.
And I think this is where you and I strongly align, that we do want to see our communities be better
Yeah.
and thrive better. And what's our input? My input, I would like to think, is educating people in their finances and
Yeah.
helping them to manage their money better, get out of renting situations and put themselves into a home ownership. So this is where my passion is. And it's so cool to meet someone like you
Yeah.
that has similar values,
Yeah.
I would like to think.
That's one of the things I really push when I train people is education, is teaching them to be a good teammate, to know what they're actually doing and why. Because when people know what they're doing and why, they tend to want to share it with other people. So a lot of PTs that I grow up with, they might just be counting reps, telling them to keep their chest up, just little corrections like this, but they're not actually educating the person. And when you educate the person, you tend to get a lot of longevity out of them in that fitness environment. And then they tend to share it with other people, because when people learn about something, they get passionate about it. So
Yeah.
I think it's just an overflowing effect. And I think that's what you got to do in the fitness industry, is just create like a viral type effect with people.
But how do you get someone motivated to move their bodies, especially if they haven't done it consistently in the past?
I think one of the major triggers that I see for people is you got to give them like an outward look. And I think a lot of the times in society, people are inward looking. They're always looking at themselves. But I think if somebody goes, hey, I want to be healthier for my husband or my wife or my kids, I want to be healthier and stronger for my workplace. If you just teach people to look out and find their why, they tend to stick to it, because that's what keeps them disciplined and consistent, is that's knowing that why they're doing it.
I love it. I mean, it's no different to what I do. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
It's when they realize what's their why.
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people come to me and they're like, oh, I want to buy a house. And then you tell them the steps they need to take, and then they fall off the wagon. And you're like, hey, why, what happened when we followed them up? They go, not the right time, or, not sure what the economy is going to do, but the why is not strong enough.
Yeah.
So I guess it's the same for you. If you have a very strong why, and if your people know why they're doing it, this is exciting. So, so what's next for Isaac King?
Like I actually had to really look at myself this year, because when we met last year, I won the innovation section of the awards, the Electro Business Awards. I had to think, what's the next step? And I was talking to one of my clients, Sonia Jackson, and she they
won the major.
Yeah, they won the major one. And I was just like, what? Because we bounce off each other ideas and things like this. And she's a really cool little mentor for me. And she's just like, well, I'm going to tighten up on everything. And I thought, I'm going to do the same. So like I'm trying to really up the services that I currently give people, so they're always getting a better version of me.
Yeah.
So it's just education. I keep studying. I keep myself healthy. I keep myself open to people. I'm always trying to push and bring change to my business so I don't get stagnant. So in turn, they all get in a better version of me, and that's my goal for the year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I always have to look back at is quality versus quantity.
Yeah.
It's not about, getting 100 new clients every month, every week,
Yeah.
or getting 100 clients more each month. It's not about that. It's about providing the quality service to the ones that we already have,
Yeah.
and how they can get more out of us to further themselves up, because you already have those clients, they already built the relationship with you, they know who you are and what you're about.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're already raving about you to anyone they're talking to, right?
Yeah.
But how do you keep the quality up, and how do you keep delivering something?
Yeah, I think that's really important for a trainer, a PT, to actually do, because it's very, very easy to get stagnant in your job and how you deliver and look after people. And that can be a major reason why people fall off the wagon as well. And I think if people are going to hire you, they deserve the best version of you every time. And that's a happy person, an energetic person, a well-educated person, and a person that teaches them and helps them to overcome those challenges so they stay on the long journey. They might finish with you at some point, but you might see them 2 months down the road at Pack and Save, but they're still going on their journey.
Yeah. And it just goes back down to, don't just feed them fish. Teach them
how to fish.
how to fish, right?
That's what you want to do. You want to, health and fitness needs to be overflowing within the workplace and family units, and that's how it hits a community. So that was just my whole idea, is to go after it in the workplace, because what do people hire? They hire family members. So
yeah,
that's how you overflow it into the family union, I think.
And I think it makes the employees more stickier. Like, if their employers looking after them, they matter. They're not just a number. So if someone else is offering them 10K more per year salary, but this place is actually looking after them by providing them health and well-being.
Yeah.
I would say people these days, they would, even though money could be attractive, unless it's like a 50K more increase, that they can then go and spend that money on themselves, by doing yoga classes and PT, etc. But if the increase in money is not that significant, I think people value more being looked after.
I look at it in both ways, hearing you talk, the whole, if an employee sows physically, like money and training into that person, they become more productive in the workplace. So when somebody's more productive in the workplace, that increases the turnover of that business, where they can give bonuses, they can give pay rises. But if you're getting people that are slowing down as they age, the productivity is dropping.
So the business is losing money.
Yeah. So what it is we want to find ways to keep people at a level where they're constantly increasing and improving, or dramatically slowing it down. And then it increases, and then you can get that financial bonus. That's what I love about the program, is it has the whole personal aspect to it and family aspect to it. But then on the other side, there's a productivity in the workplace, where the businesses are there to create an increased turnover to provide for themselves and these families. So.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Now, completely different question out of left field for you. So growing up, I just want to understand a little bit more about your world. Growing up, how much did you know about money and what to do with money? Because sounds like you're running a really fantastic business. So I want to understand your roots, your history.
I grew up in church. I learned to be a giver. I learned to be an outward, looking outward and looking at people and sharing and being kind, and knowing that you're blessed to be a blessing. But then when I kind of stepped out into owning my own business, where I was 100% responsible for the overheads and everything like that, I was put under a different type of pressure. And with that pressure, but I was really blessed, because this initiative has put business owners around me. And one of the cool things with people that I encounter, I'm really good at building friendships with them. And so when you build friendships with these types of people, you learn. So it's not just about me coaching them and teaching them. I get taught lessons every day, and financial lessons and business lessons and things like that. So it's quite interesting that my business has clients that teaches me to become a better business person. So my business mindset is really, really catapulted over the last 5 years, just with the people that are around me every day.
Yeah. I'm a great believer on attracting on your energy level.
Yeah.
So you meet people where your energy is. So as you're growing, as you're developing, your energy is growing, your energy is developing, and I'm talking about your not just physical energy, but your
Yeah.
soul energy, so to
Yeah.
speak. And I think you are attracting the right people for the right stage of your life
Yeah.
that are able to carry you through to the next one. Because that's what I'm finding, that, you know, sometimes people like you and I that are givers, that are naturally, you know, looking after community and stuff, we don't really delve into our own numbers.
Yeah.
We don't really look at what's making our business tick, because we're not numbers driven in
Yeah.
terms of what's making me succeed is, you know, I need to get 5 new clients every month, whatever. I don't look at that.
Yeah.
I look at how can I help these
Yeah.
people. But it's that fine balance between being sufficient and making sure you're not burning out,
Yeah.
and making sure you are bringing the best version of yourself. So it's good to know that you are surrounding yourself with the right mentorship.
Oh, I got some pretty good mentors in my life. So two really influential people, just both won the back-to-back, you know, like the respective Electra Business Awards. So, you know, they're pretty cool people to have in your life.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was really cool to see you win that last year. And it'd be interesting to see, where you're going in a few years' time, to see you come back and re-enter.
Yeah, oh no, I definitely want to. I got asked a few times the other night when I saw you at the opening, and it's just like I just want to focus on like building myself.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of re-entering at some point because it just makes you better. Like it challenges you and lets you look at your business in a different way. So yeah, no, I definitely will.
Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Any parting words?
I just think always be a giver, always speak good things, and look after your physical health. Don't just let work consume you.
Yeah.
Look after the body that takes you to work. So that's what I see a lot of people doing. They just consume themselves with work, but they're not looking after their bodies. So you've got to look after your body to be more efficient at work.
Can you give me 3 tips, easy tips that people can do today? Listening to those, they can just get up and do it.
Find some form of health and fitness that excites you. It doesn't have to be the gym. It could be going for a walk with your partner every night. It could be going off to play pickleball or tennis or a bit of golf. Just be active and try to find that activity with other people. Surround yourself with people that you can be accountable to, and we live in a time of like unlimitless information. So learn. If you want to know something about nutrition, YouTube things, like talk, ask questions, and just keep, upskilling yourself. So yeah, community and upskilling yourself. Those are probably the 2 major ones.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Isaac.
You're welcome.
Thank you for coming in. And I would love to have you back in a few months' time to hear about your journey with some of the bigger companies and what I'd like to do is delve into those stories of those people that you're working in, how you got them from this point to this point and how they're thriving in their life right now.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
See you soon.